Yeah, summertime rain.
Natalie, there's that at the end, doesn't have to be before anything. Right. Yep. Okay, you're live.
Good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. It is Tuesday, August 10th, 2021. I'll call this Board of Codington County Court of Commissioners meeting to order. We do have Lee Gable online also. He will be joining us Zoom this morning. Excuse me. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance. Cindy, would you lead us this week?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Item number 2, call for public comment. We will still take phone calls from individuals of items that are not on the agenda and for information only. 2 phone numbers are 882-6248 and 882-6297. Conflict of interest items. Are there any of fellow commissioners on the agenda?
None.
All right, we'll go item number 4, action to approve the August 10th, 2021 agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Waterman. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 5, action to approve the August 3rd, 2021 minutes of the Codington County Board of Commissioners.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any additions or corrections? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item number 6, tax deed property auction.
All right, and I'll take this. This is in the town of Wallace, lots 5 and 6 of block 15 of the village of Wallace, Codington County, South Dakota, property record number 5275. Tax deed issued to Codington County on February 8th of 2021. Bidders are invited, urged, and cautioned to inspect the property prior to the auction. Failure to inspect the property shall not constitute cause for cancellation of the sale. The bidder understands and agrees that the property is offered, purchased, and accepted by the buyer as is and with all faults. County makes no warranties and guarantees whatsoever, whether written, oral, or implied, as to the quality, condition, or habitability. Buyer acknowledges that he or she relied entirely on his or her own information, judgment, and inspection of the property, dated the 6th day of July 2021. Property is assessed as non-ag. Its last assessed value was for $376. Again, this is in the village of Wallace, Codington County, South Dakota. Appraised value is $165. That's where we'll start the opening bid this morning, is at $165. So do I have an opening bid? $165. Take it up to $200. $200 bid. 175. Should we do 175? Okay, back down to 165. Any more bids? 165. Going once, going twice. 165 sold. Okay, your name, sir?
Al Keller.
Okay, Al. Does he need to get with
You just
you
do
then?
go talk to Carol in the treasurer's office and she'll
Yeah.
run you, you can do that now. Next week, the board will take action. They'll adopt a resolution approving the sale and then authorizing me to issue a quit claim deed to the successful bidder. So that takes place next Tuesday. But today you need to go over and talk to Carol about making payment for the property then. All right?
Yep. Do you know where her office is at? It's just right across the
Just down
hallway.
hall.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
All right,
And that down to Cindy there.
we'll move on then to monthly reports. And we'll start with Cindy.
This is our start of our busy season. We will be receiving centrally assessed values at the end of August, which will get our taxable values to the Department of Revenue. It'll help us determine how much our growth is, so how much we can increase our property tax collection for pay 2022. And then we'll start working on tax levies after that. And that's basically what is picking up right now. Normally in an even numbered year, we'd also be working elections, but that is not the case this year. So other than normal month to month or day-to-day duties, we will be working on property tax levies from now through the end of the year.
All right. Any questions for Cindy? Hearing none, let's move on then to Director of Equalization with Shauna. Good morning, Shauna.
Shauna.
I just made sure Mr. Keller got what Carol.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so not much new to update. We are still continuously working on all the new sales splits and new plats. We are kind of ahead. We have more sales this year than we have had in previous years at this time. So it'll be interesting to see if that keeps going. Houses are still selling within a day, and for a lot. So we'll I'm keeping an eye on that. We'll see what happens after we start doing our ratio studies. And then the reappraisals are still continuing in Lake Rawville and Richland Townships right now. So that's what we are doing.
Very good.
Thank you.
Any
No
questions for Shauna? Lee?
No questions.
That was,
Thank you.
Would like to ask you just how long you think this is going to go on.
well,
I mean, we just don't know, do we?
we don't know, and the prices, could come down, maybe not. But sometimes it's really hard. There's a lot of, I don't want to say turnover in houses, but there really is, because the people that are buying houses right now, they tend to live in them for a few years and then move on. Well, they don't want to lose any money on their houses. So for these houses that are being purchased right now, for them to go down in value, I don't foresee it happening, but hopefully the pace of the increase will slow down, but we'll see. I mean, there's quite a few that are really high, but there are still, quite a few that are in the normal range too. So hopefully those will outweigh the really high ones. So.
We need affordable housing.
Especially
Yes.
those around the
Yes,
lake.
we need affordable housing,
Yes,
not the way the market is going right now, but
especially around the lake, that is.
Yeah.
the lake has always been special, but the lake has always been kind of high just because it's property at the lake, but
It's everywhere.
it's everywhere. Yep. And like I had said before, I think a month ago, it's all over South Dakota too. So
The ag land prices though, have those come?
the ag land
Down.
prices, I don't really see moving much. And I know we got our new values from the state. They didn't really change much at all.
That's good.
And so our 7-year, but that's where the 7-year Olympic average comes into play. But I'm not seeing, super high sales or.
Not
or
much has
anything.
moved either.
No, not
Right.
much. I'm not seeing very many sales.
There's just no sales out
Yeah,
there.
no. So that we should be okay on, but everything else we'll just have to see how it goes.
Yep, time will tell.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Oh, did you have a question, Lee?
No, I just said thanks.
Okay. That's at the end of that. Okay, we will move on then to Welfare Director with Sarah. Good morning.
Good morning.
We have a few
Morning, Sarah.
things for you too. We
Yeah.
will take care of when we're
Sarah,
here.
did you send this to me?
No.
Okay, good. No, because we were last
I
week, we
forget to
weren't
send this
able.
out? Okay.
No, you didn't.
All right, good.
Sorry.
Thank you.
No, I just got it
Thank you.
put together later this week, so
Okay.
brought it in person. I emailed it to Lee too. so
Okay, good.
That he has it, yep. And then he, so starting with the charts on the back, we're working on redoing it. I did add to the chart the little
box clients by program, because I just really want to start capturing why people are connecting with our office. And so the blue line is the CARES applications that are coming through, and then the orange is people that are coming in for actually county services, and the gray is the ICAP services. So this is something I've started to ask them, or I've asked them to start recording why people are coming into our office. So that's just a new thing. We may take off some of the other charts if they're not as important information. We were pretty busy in July. We had 52 unique individuals, and then the call-in visits by month. And actually that's more of like what services those individuals were connected with. They may come into our office a lot more than just the actual visits, but we've connected them with 76 different types of services with that. So July was a busier month with higher needs as well. And I have agencies across the community have also been identifying that they're just busier. The Beacon Center is pretty full in their shelter, and we're finding our homeless situation has been busier here in July as well. So with that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, you know, the federal eviction
Notice.
program was supposed to end
Mhm.
last week.
Mhm.
Is any of this CARES Act money available for
Yes.
that type? I mean, is it not across the country?
It is,
There's-
which
okay.
is an interesting thing. South Dakota, I have to say, South Dakota's done a good job of getting the funds out.
Okay,
And it just sounds like maybe other states haven't done as good of a job of
okay,
getting the
that's
funds
kind of
out.
what I
So,
wondered. All right.
yeah. So if people have been affected by COVID and haven't been able to pay rent, we certainly will, can help them. They just need to contact our office and we can get them connected
Okay.
with the CARES money. But yeah, that's what those visits are for.
Okay.
So, yes, good question. Any other questions about services or any of that?
Just
See,
looking
our
at,
burials have taken is that for the year, that's the year to date, 37.5.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I just wanted to ask that same
I-
question.
let me double check that.
I can look. and see.
Yeah, well, I think we talked about that, Sarah.
Yeah.
So I think we thought that was pretty accurate, at this point in the year, and you consider the cost, the amount that we pay per burial. But yeah, it can't hurt to verify it.
we had 2 more funerals in July, and so I think if we look back, Lee, you're right. Actually, here I can look in
So we have 40,000 budgeted for that for this year, right?
I have my budget right here. Burials, we do have 40,000, and so this amount is an actual year, not January, but from July of 20,
From July to
20.
July.
yes.
Okay.
Oh,
So it's not
okay,
canceled.
Because, yeah.
So we're-
we
Yeah,
have-
so that,
So, no, no.
I know.
Through August, we have paid 20,793
And
for
we
burials.
still have
Okay,
20,000.
okay.
Yes, sorry.
Thank you.
I need to figure out
That
a way
would-
to do it.
I can help with that, Sarah, when we work on the report. So yeah, no, it might be my fault for how I pitched. I thought I said it to start in January, but maybe I just went 12 months back. So I'll check on that.
About half of that
Well,
budget
that's-
line has been expended. up to
Right.
this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
We're
We
in
could
the-
do year
August.
to date in comparison from past, but you could also do current calendar year too
Yeah.
somehow.
Now, the homeless, the housing and medical and utilities, is that for the month or is that for the physical year or is that
So-
year to year?
The chart,
If I could interrupt, it'll be the same as what the burial is because it's all on one little chart within the Excel document.
So we want to compare, last year's to this year's, but we also would be interesting just to keep track of what the calendar year is, so we can watch those budget lines or whatever.
yeah, and I can give,
Okay.
I have the amounts here if you want
Yeah. And that's something Lee
June.
probably can,
Lee can help me with too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so then the narrative report on the other side of that. With the CARES, we mentioned that a little bit. Carrie was very busy with that. It should say July, actually. We were reimbursed $4,075, which is 81 hours at $50 an hour. So that's averaging a little over 20 hours a week that she has been spending on CARES. Codington County Welfare has processed or is currently working on a total of 155 first-round applications. So what happens is people can qualify for it the first time, and then if after 3 months they still aren't where they need to be, they can come back for second and then a third round as well. And the second and third round applications take a lot longer to process because they have to continue to prove that it's COVID related or that they've had a loss of income or something has happened. So those just are more time consuming to process. So 155 first round and then additional second and third round applications with that.
Right. I would just add on that note, ICAP has had to hire additional staff just to do that part of it. So they found out using their staff currently there wasn't enough hours to get their other work done. So
And we're finding Carrie is obviously, that's all of her time is like a vast majority of her time is spent on cares. And so that's making us rushing a little bit in the other areas of the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
So we're a little stretched thin with that. ICAP then is 49.5 hours in July, which was approximately 12 hours a week. Amy was on vacation for part of that time, and so that's part of the reduced time. Again, the partnership continues to be very good. We're focusing on keeping her more in client contact versus office coverage with that. And we will be updating that contract. So we met and talked with ICAP, and when that contract is renewed, it will go down to 15 hours a week for contracted hours with ICAP.
which is the end of October.
Yes, October 31st is when it renews or is up.
Yep.
And then as far as our office and services, we're going to be talking about the guidelines today that I worked on updating. And then we're also looking into remodeling office space for potentially bringing in additional people. We would love to have all of the ICAP office with us so that we don't have to send them to multiple places. And there's some other potential opportunities between the Department of Health and 211. So just looking at what possibilities are out there for that. I did attend the South Dakota Homeless Summit in Chamberlain or Oakoma, July 27th and 28th, which was an interesting and good connection there. As far as our services themselves, we did have an individual in the apartment. She was able to get permanent housing, and so she is off on her own, which is wonderful. Our current family that we have in there is getting close to permanent housing. What we're finding the big holdup for permanent housing, because all of these people that we're working with qualify for subsidized housing, but they have to have birth certificates and social security cards. And so it's a matter of getting those and tracking those down and then the wait for those documents in order to get the housing that they qualify for. So that's our barrier right now with all of, actually almost all the.
Are they anything like a visa? Visa's about 18 weeks out now.
Yeah, well, no, but we're waiting, social security card, I think we're, for another family that's not in there that we're waiting on is 7 or 8 days that we're waiting.
Well, that's not so bad.
No, but when we're waiting, their apartment is ready, and so we're just waiting on that social security card, so every day.
And they're in limbo in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, you can't just go to the office here in town. That's the
Yeah.
challenge. You have to, everything has to be over the mail. So, yeah. So we have 4 homeless families or individuals that we're working with, and Amy has been absolutely instrumental in getting them where they need to go and really keeping an eye on them and working with them. We tend to tag team on those. So Amy is primary, and when she's out, then I'm helping with the follow-up and making sure things are happening with that. We're working on processing some medical requests. Learning that process has been an interesting thing. And so, yeah, met with Tom Burns yesterday to process through some of that as well. And then we're also working to improve jail referrals. And so we had 3 walk-ins last week, which is my scenario thing that I share with you too. And then as far as the systems of care, the larger community piece, we have our interagency meeting this Thursday. We're working on getting some proposals together for a community-wide strategic planning so that we can really have a coordinated effort with everybody moving in the same direction. And I'm continuing conversations with community members. It's been kind of interesting that now that we've met with all of the social service agencies, I've started to have some individual community members that I'm having conversations with. And so that's been really great to know who in our community is invested in moving these things forward. I did have a meeting with the mayor and the city manager just to get them in the loop of what's going on and where things are at. And then the resilient communities is continuing to move forward. And that's primarily a designation for a community. There is some work that needs to happen with that, but it's all in phases. And so we're hoping to start phase 2 with that process soon. And then that client highlight, I didn't do an individual person this week. I think it was just that connection with the jail. Our community member, Bruce Hested, who does a really great job. He's a great idea guy of getting things going. He coordinated putting together some personal care kits for individuals coming out of the jail. Our office is storing them because the jail doesn't have room for them. And that's a great partnership as well. So when people are released, they're given a little card that says to come to if they bring it to our office, we'll give them one of the personal care kits. And then we can do an assessment and make sure their immediate needs are being met. And then that we're getting them connected to the right services. And so last week we had 3 people come in with the cards, and we had just met with the jail the week before. So
Good.
I appreciate you agreeing, because Bruce has been trying to get this done for a very long
Yeah.
time. And that's great that you are allowing him to put them there, because I do know in the jail, that's a whole thing. But yeah, they need to go to you to find out what the process is anyway. So it makes sense.
Right. Well, it helps us connect with people that we would probably miss, and hopefully can get them to where they are connected and have the services they need to avoid going back to jail. That's the goal.
Exactly. That recidivism thing.
Yeah.
One of the things, Sarah, I know you and Matt Blackwelder have been talking about, how to coordinate better. So I appreciate that. One thing I still owe you guys is some kind of a data report to look at to get an idea of the people that come back a little more frequently than we'd like. So maybe you can talk to those individuals and, help them. So.
Yeah. And I think
Recidivism would be nice to know. Yeah.
Yeah. And we can, it's just, we started working on that report. So, we still need to finish that up. And I appreciate Sarah's work, because this is kind of part of getting the county hitting on all cylinders with regard to minimizing recidivism.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is if some of these individuals are those individuals, then to be able to see once they actually make contact with you, what happens. So
that the Department of Health has a whole bunch of things coming down the pipeline here soon. And I'm hopeful that maybe we can work to designate somebody to follow up with those high utilizers for the jail. And to follow up. Yeah.
it's a lot of times that just do that to go back into jail, because there's the safe place for them. They have
Right.
a lot of,
Well, they have their food and shelter and all of their
Exactly.
needs met. So yeah, not necessarily in a great way, but
but that's
Yeah.
how they've learned how to survive.
yeah, definitely survival. So, yep.
All right.
Okay.
Anything else for your report?
No,
Okay.
unless there's any questions.
Any other questions?
Looks good.
So then maybe we will move on to item number 11, action to adopt an updated welfare guideline. I don't know if you want to kind of explain this a little bit, Sarah,
Well, the whole goal with this is just to simplify what we have. The current guidelines, as I was reading through the current guidelines, I just wanted to simplify them. And my next step on this, after the guidelines are approved, we'll be looking at the policy and simplifying the policy. So what I did essentially is Minnehaha and Brookings County have almost identical. And so I took what Minnehaha and Brookings County had and adapted theirs for Codington County. So what you have is essentially identical to 2 other counties, which is also gives some reassurance that we're having uniformity throughout the state and that services are being provided appropriately throughout the state.
well, and then if you're doing it the same as those, I mean, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can contact them, because,
Yeah.
then we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to help you better. If we have different guidelines, then it's kind of hard for them to help through.
I
that
appreciate you
process.
doing this because it's kind of a glossary for us to refer to.
Yes. Well, and then that's what people can go on the website too and see what we do cover, what we don't cover. And I just wanted it laid out simpler.
And it is in simple language.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it's readable.
That's readable.
Yes.
You can follow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve this.
Oh, we have
We
some,
need
well,
some discussions.
right.
Oh, okay.
There's a few questions.
Yeah. On page
Okay.
17, and previously this has been run through my office. I don't know why. It's section 7, A and B. It says the county will authorize payments only to the Human Services Center for voluntary treatment. So we
Yes.
always work with the Human Service Agency here in Watertown, and sometimes they will send a client to a different treatment center. And we
Okay.
have paid that also. So that's something maybe,
Okay.
I don't know if you want to talk to HSA before we adopt this, because that's something that, you know, we have always paid for the voluntary drug and alcohol treatment to Yankton, which is, I believe, $600 admittance fee. But occasionally they'll send somebody to Worthmore or another facility that is actually less than the $600 to Yankton. And if you want to take over this, that would be great.
Well, because actually when we were talking last week about those bills and you said that, I thought that was interesting and needed more discussion because it would make sense for
Yeah.
us
Yes.
for that to be out of our budget and to our, or does it come
It
out of
comes
our budget?
out, no, it comes out of the mentally handicapped budget.
Okay,
That is where the Yankton billings come
Uh-huh.
from, and we have categories for voluntary and involuntary. So it does come out of the mentally handicapped budget, but like HSA will send me an email or a letter saying they've been working with such and such client
Yeah.
and they recommend treatment. So they would just reach
Yeah.
out to you instead, which is fine with me. It
think-
would seem to make more sense, but like I said, they do occasionally use something other than the
Okay.
Human Service Center in
So
Yankton. So
they
that's
reach-
something, maybe just some discussions with HSA.
Yeah, so if they reach out to Sarah, then Sarah's gonna have to let your office know anyways to cut a check for that, so.
yeah, which we would do that. I mean, that's how we do it, everything.
Well, we don't cut a separate check. It just comes on a bill.
Out of the billing.
We just get
Do
billed
the
for it like
voucher.
our
Okay.
normally, normal
Oh,
bills.
okay.
So, yeah. The other thing
Yeah,
was on
I'm
page
fine with
4, section 3, public access to guidelines. It says it will be on file with the auditor, which I can do, but if there's any questions on it, I'm not going to have the answers. So I guess I'm wondering, is that something that other counties do? Is it something by statute?
I don't know, because other counties did it, I guess I should have asked you that
Okay.
question beforehand.
And that's the way it has always been done.
Mhm.
But I thought I'd ask and see
That-
if that's,
It would be in my office instead of you, or how has it been done with these?
well, it's been here and I don't know if it's been in the welfare office also. I would assume that it has, and it probably should be out on the website
Mhm.
also.
I think
I would
website
think
would be.
so.
I've never had anybody ask me to look at it.
Yeah.
If I could, yeah, typically like with any kind of ordinance, for example, or the minutes or whatever, the auditor is the keeper, the official keeper. But yeah, we try to keep it on the website as well to make it easier. And then, Cindy's going to have to refer questions, that aren't in her bailiwick to, different offices.
And I can, that's fine if I just need to know that that's going to be the process.
The only problem with putting it on the website, though, is if there are any changes that happen, it has to be corrected or we can be held liable for
Well,
inaccurate.
that's ordinances. I don't know if this falls
Pertains to
under that
that?
same thing or not.
I don't know.
I don't know how,
We'll need to get,
yeah.
Guidelines.
we need to find
They're
out
just
for sure.
guidelines.
Yeah.
But
This
if
is-
it
yeah, this is
changes, then
not
they
an
can still
ordinance.
say, well, that's what your website said, so it's just something we better find out.
Well,
So,
we might be able to put a caveat on that, that this is as up to date as we can get it, just doing our best.
Minnehaha does have their guidelines on their website for a reference point.
We could put
my-
on there that they're subject to change,
Well, and I think I've always just had, formally, they brought it over to me in a binder
Mhm.
and I just kept it on the filing cabinets. Like I said, nobody's ever asked for it. I'm willing to do that. I just want to know, what do I do if somebody has a question? Do I just refer them
Yes.
to you? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would say, is refer them to our office then
Okay.
about any specific questions.
Okay.
The other thing is, I would like to see these updated annually. In my mind, it would make sense to update them in January because that's when the funeral
Mhm.
rates are updated. And so just update them all, which is also the appendix which has the rates in it.
There's
That-
another fee for a bus ticket or something that I saw that
Mhm.
could also be affected that we would have to look at annually. I think it's
Yeah.
$155 for a ticket or something like that.
And the utilities rate
So-
is in there too. And if it would be easier, I can just move all of those to the appendix.
And that's the thing, there's only certain things that we'll have to take a look at every year. But yes, I think too, it is something that needs to be updated every year so that we stay current.
So what's, I mean, I'm fine with it the way it is. I appreciate that it's, nicely organized and more concise. It's easy to find stuff. So Sarah, is this a usable document for you? I mean, I'm guessing it is since you put it together.
Yeah, it is much more usable. I think some of it is just having that uniformity of how things work. And so I appreciate Cindy's responses too, of knowing how things happen.
Right.
Yeah. So talking to, so the
Main thing is that.
the drug and alcohol.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, because the wording does specifically say only to the Human Service Center. Do we need to change that to only to qualified or certified facilities?
Pre-approved.
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe talk to Carrie Johnson and
Mhm.
see.
And then the process, who's going to be the intake person on that?
Yeah, and it's not a hard thing. They just say, I've been working with this client. They've shown good faith. I believe this comes from the counselor. I believe the treatment will be beneficial to them. And then they just ask us if we would consider paying the admit fee.
Okay.
And then did I show you that form that we make up so that they can actually take it with them when they go to these centers? Lots of times they don't pick it up. That's another thing that we need to get straightened out too.
So the getting this in place, I think is a good first step then to getting the procedures in place. Because those are the things that I actually need to know step by step how things work.
So you want to do a little work on this? part
Do
of it
you guys want-
first, and then after we get that figured out, then we can adopt. There's no rush. I mean, it's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't you get that part of it just kind of.
Are there any other
Yep.
recommendations or?
Maybe you mentioned this already, Sarah, but have you talked with the funeral home people about their section here?
Yes.
Everything looks good to them?
Well,
I mean, I know it's state law, pretty much it mandates that, but
and that's where the funeral home part is a little bit different than Brookings and Sioux Falls because
Okay.
it's more of what Watertown does. here.
Right.
And so that was
right.
one of the only areas that I made some bigger changes to was the funeral areas
But
because
this will change every year as we renegotiate the terms of
the rates will
Rates.
change
But I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything in here that specifies a rate
only on that appendix.
specifically, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
appendix,
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, okay,
And
gotcha.
that rate has been in place ever since I took office. So that's been
Yeah.
11 years. That's where it's been at.
And Watertown still, or Codington County is still higher than most other counties in the state for reimbursement for that.
I don't know how long it was put in place before I became commissioner, but yeah, they've left it at that amount.
All right. Yeah, so I will contact HSA and
Get that
clarify that piece and then,
Do you want me to just leave it on for next week, or
Sure.
do you think you'll have time?
Yeah.
Okay, if not, we'll just leave it there till we
Okay.
get it
I'll get it
to
done.
where we want. Okay.
And then
Thank
I'll
you.
get together with you and make
Yeah.
sure we have.
Yep, it's
everything.
not a big deal. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, so we'll leave that on the agenda then. How about on 15B? Do we want to do that now or wait, or what are we doing there?
Well, normally it just would come under, you can have a discussion now if you want to and just take action
Temporary
at
hours.
that time. Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to explain it so you don't have to wait.
Sure,
kind of
that
what-
would be great.
And then we
Um,
can do it down there, but
So what I'm asking for is just because of all of the hours that Carrie is putting towards CARES right now is to increase her hours by 10 hours temporarily. The other piece of that is because ICAP is not, we had originally contracted 19, we're down to 15. And so between the CARES funds that she's bringing in and the time she's spending with that and the additional office coverage that we could use, I'd like to increase her hours by 10 hours. And then it would be a temporary status. There's some personnel pieces that
So
need to be
her
adjusted.
status remain what it is right
Mhm.
now. We're just going to increase her hours temporarily.
Increase 10 hours. So that's my,
All right,
Is that
explanation, we'll just wait till we get down to that part. If you guys are okay with that when we do all of our other personnel changes.
Does anybody have any
Or
questions?
did you want to do it now?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Anyone have any questions for Sarah while she's here? Lee? No?
Okay.
I'm
All right.
okay. Thank you.
All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, item number 8, I think we should be review the 2022 budget request. We're all
And
good?
we've gone through everything, but I just left that on there in case you wanted to do any more discussion. I'll just give you a timeline. In September, at our meetings in September, we will hold a public hearing every Tuesday that we meet in September to offer anybody to come in and comment on the provisional budget for 2022. I have sent that provisional budget to the newspapers because we do have to publish it beforehand. So, and then we take formal action to approve the budget on September 28th.
I don't have any, the timelines and all that stuff is fine. The only thing that I would alert the other board members here is that as we went through these budgets, and I hope everybody goes back through them again, there were some pretty high increases in a lot of those budgets.
And a lot of that's due to the new wage study.
And that's right. And so we need to be aware of those things when we come to
Right.
okay that budget. You know, there was some departments that asked for an 8% increase in their salary, for example. I think there was one, wasn't it?
But that is due to the new wage scale.
study.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's due to the new wage
But
scale.
be
and-
aware of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm saying that simply because we still have to pay the bills.
Well,
So
Well-
be on the alert.
You
just
can't raise.
to counter that too, I know that we had a lot of department heads that came in with budgets that stayed the same or had a very minimal increase. And
Right.
so we would
Most
like
of-
to
I will
thank
say
them for
most
that
of the
too. but-
increases were in the personnel services,
Yeah.
wages and personnel.
Which
And
we
bottom-
knew was gonna
Bottom
come.
part, most of those tried to, you know, stay the
down.
line. And then unless there were some projects that, you know, in the facilities that they had budgeted
Mhm.
for, so.
That were necessary. I mean,
Some
I
of that
have to-
stuff like insurance and stuff like that.
Right, and
there's no-
right now
you can't-
insurance is still an unknown.
Yeah,
We don't know what our increase is looking at, but but most, or a lot of the departments did have explanation sheets. So if you go back and read through those, that will help you.
Yeah.
The nonprofits, a couple of them just went up, maybe CPI. There was another one that I think went up $2,000, but most of those stayed the line also. So,
One thing that I can say and be confident in saying this is that I don't feel that any of our department heads are spending taxpayer dollars just to spend taxpayer dollars. I think everything that they've put in their budget is justified. And as I go through the budget, I'm pretty happy,
Mhm.
really. You know, the salaries, we knew that we needed to
Yes.
get our employees in line, and I think that's what we're doing this next budget cycle, and hopefully that'll kind of flatline that for a while.
Right.
But
And
you know,
that's
brings us back to where we should have been.
That's true. It's interesting in the 11 years that I went through the budgeting process here, I've only had one call from a public individual, you know, one of the constituents out there, and their concern was that we're using too much drinking water, bottled water.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I encourage people in the community to look at these budgets. It's in the paper now, and review them. And if you have questions, you know, get to us, commissioners, and ask those questions, you know, and that was a pretty simple answer. I told them to come up and go to the second floor of the courthouse and get a drink out of the water fountain here.
no, don't drink out of
Don't
That,
drink it.
that took care of it.
Yeah, you know, but there's not a lot of fat to be cut
No,
out of these
no, there
budgets.
isn't.
And
No.
we appreciate what the department heads are continuing to do.
They do a
Yes.
good job.
Yeah, we have really good department heads that try to,
Well, our
Hold the
biggest of all the things that when I was going through the budget, the wage increase, the wage study, it's caused the biggest increase. And it was estimated, I didn't do the final figures, but it was estimated it was going to raise it about $200,000 to $225,000.
no,
But that is in line now with the rest of it, and
no.
we'll
What
go
is
forward
the,
from here.
what's the correct amount, Natalie? It wasn't that.
I think we're in $100,000.
Yeah.
but, I mean, you don't know the difference of, like, what
Right.
How things were following, already giving increases, COLA increases, whatever. So
Yes.
that might be your current percentage, but it's not all that is different.
There's a lot that goes into that.
All right. Well, let's move on to item number 9, action to approve auditor's account with the treasurer and note monthly registered deeds fees.
The monthly register of deed fees are $52,358.20. The auditor's account with the treasurer shows you the cash and cash items on hand as of the last business day in July. It also shows you where our fund cash balances are as of the end of July. Then you can see some of those are inflated due to funds that we have received for the CARES Act, for the road work that we are taking care of, that we've been paid for. Just a couple of things you can see there, those two bottom in the second section of numbers, the 290 and 295, that's the American Rescue Plan, $2.7 million, and the rural access infrastructure, $54,000. So
We did receive that funding.
yeah, and then in the road and bridge fund, 18 million, that includes the almost 12 million that we've received from the wind people. So
Right. We will be hearing more about that rural access infrastructure because I think this first round is to now get all of their structures
identified.
identified. I believe that's this first round
what
of
I
it.
thought.
That
And
will
that is
help
with
the
the
township.
assistance of First District. Is that, Are
yeah, I
they-
believe they have a tool, but
are they notifying the townships?
I think they already did,
Okay.
but
right.
they have, I'll learn more tomorrow at Oklahoma.
Okay.
We'll have those individuals there. I think they're going to be at the convention as well. They have set up a form for them to use or whatever, a guideline. So that will be,
Okay.
make the process easier for them because the townships don't have a lot of money and, don't really want them to have per
There
se.
are a lot of things tied to getting this money. Don't you have to either have an opt-out or you have to show proof of local effort to,
It's going to be kind of in the line with our big grant,
yes.
which is good. There's going to be criteria because we will, in the end, need to be divvying out some of those funds and deciding that. So that was an important thing for us to have. I don't know if I brought that along. Anyway, something for us to have in place to go by so that we aren't the bad guys all the time. At least we have criteria and we're not just picking and
Guidelines.
choosing. It will be a fair process. So left that at home, I guess, sorry. But we'll have more of that information when we need to make those decisions. All right, then I need a motion to, if you're done, or no, did you have more?
Nope.
I'll make a
We
motion.
kinda got off track.
Yep, we did.
Move to-
Second.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any other comments, questions for Cindy on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 10, action to declare sheriff's office equipment surplus to be destroyed.
So moved.
Does Cindy want to explain what it is first, probably?
These are just some, an HP laser jet and an old typewriter, a Swintex. So these are things that the sheriff is asking to have declared surplus to be destroyed.
All right, Johnson made the motion.
I'll second.
Second by Gable. Just for the public's information, Myron, you had the information, but just so that the public knows what we are destroying.
I saw the swing typewriter and I figured it's time to get rid of it.
All in
Well, we
favor?
might want to keep that and put it into a museum.
Yeah,
We
maybe.
have a couple saved. don't
Okay, a
worry.
couple saved.
Some older than this, obviously.
Yeah, we have a couple that we call out every once in a while.
Cute.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. Jamie just stepped out. Let's move on to 13 then, action to approve claims for payment.
I laid a list of claims on your desks. The only one that I've got highlighted is the very first one. And this goes back to the meeting we hosted in May.
Yep.
The district meeting. It cost us $717. We do apply the money that we received from the other counties. So it reduces our cost. The net is lower than $717.
That was the total without.
That was the total bill before we
Registrations.
applied the funds that we collected from other counties. So
Okay.
that is the only thing that I really saw out of the ordinary.
A lot of jury duty.
A lot of jury duty. I believe they are catching up. On page 5, the court-appointed attorney budget, you can see that we're spending $17,000 this month, but we're still under budget for this time of year, so that's good. We hopefully won't have to do any supplements. We'll just see how the next few months go.
We have a big quantity of major trials coming up.
Yes, we do.
So if we go over that budget, it's not going to be surprising.
Nope, nope, you're correct. I believe we have a very
Last-
large trial coming if it goes to trial.
Yeah.
So, any questions on any of the other bills? It looks like we are paying $284,000 to Dunick. Is that the firm that got the bid to fix the road?
Yep.
So
Yep.
that'll come out of that 12 million that we have budgeted. We also received the fire department or fire insurance premium refund, and you can see that that's the very last thing on page 13. We received these funds from the state of South Dakota, and we apportioned them out to all the local fire departments in Codington County. And it's based on the total valuation of the properties that they cover and the census figures for the areas they cover. And that's how we arrived at the way it's apportioned for the $121,000 that we received from the state of South Dakota. So the state claims are just over $799,000. County claims are just over $680,000.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Johnson. Any
Aye.
other discussion?
I have one quick question. On page 11, and it's a matter for clarification. For number 47 there, Town of Henry Utilities, 15131. Is that for our county shop
Yes, yep, that's for the county highway shop in Henry.
or the regional shop? Okay, I assume so. Just thank you.
Yep, we have shops in Henry, Florence, Wallace, South
Cransburg.
Shore, Cransburg, that we pay those utilities to.
Right.
Okay.
When will we see that nameplate tax again for the wind? Which
Um,
months is that?
I think it comes in the spring of the year.
Just one time a year? It's not
It
twice?
has, to date, we have received it once a year.
All right. Any other questions, comments? Lee, did you have any?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Jamie, you want to come up and go back and do item number 12? Discussion possible action to pass a resolution to enact a ban on open burning. which you Probably
Tell
know
us
the
that ain't
answer
gonna
already,
happen.
but we'll
I
let
think
him,
we know the answer.
let him give us the forward information.
Well, since our last meeting, now this is all data that's preliminary and hasn't undergone their quality control of the National Weather Service at the data center, but we did improve by 2.05 inches, according to, like, this is where the airport reading and measurements are. But locally, when I go back on their 3-day history, over the weekend, we received 5.02 inches amongst the 2 days. So very beneficial on our end. The drought monitor will end up updating on Thursday. I'm guessing that'll improve a little bit, put us back in that D1, hopefully, because it was varied between Codington and Dual on early Saturday morning. Dual really got it over by the Gary area, the Revillo area, went 5-inch increments. But reaching out to her yesterday, she said then on the Sunday morning event, nothing over an inch. So where we ended up with 2 and 2 and 3.5, anywhere to all the way up to 6 inches up northern side of the county. So, and those did trigger 2 flood warning events for about 4 hours each long. Sunday, I did take a quick drive up to the north side and looked at a few roads. There was some water trickling over some of the township roads here and there on those Mud Creek area, Gravel Creek area. But I haven't had any reports of severe damage of washouts or anything, but there was a lot of water standing in folks' yard up there. So
Funny how that line was, because I only received 2 inches total of those 2 days.
I had
9 tenths on each day. That's all that my gauge
I had
showed.
4.62.
Unless I have a
Yep.
hole in it, I don't know.
Well,
but
the crops are
that's all I
happy.
got.
Crops are happy.
crops are really happy right now.
Well, it was nice that it was split up over a couple of days.
That really helped.
And I did notice something different, which really caught my eye. People might want to monitor it just when they're passing by. I see County Fair's digital signboard had the drought or the flood warning from the National Weather Service on scrolling across their digital board. Don't understand how all that was or how it worked out or why it became of, but it was on there.
Good.
Just want to say a thank you to them because
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, but no, as we, as it shows for departure from normal value, last week was 3.86. This week we're at 2.41. So I think they gather everything. And then they'll go through a final quality control. I would assume this will update a little bit better by next week.
So no burn ban.
We don't need one. And moving forward, discussion with a couple of the fire chiefs. I don't know, do we want to continue now that we've received this beneficial wise, or do we want to bring it every bi-weekly, or let me
This
bring
is-
it to you when I monitor it nonstop? So
This is South Dakota. We're always about 2 or 3 days from a drought.
I'll just leave it on and
Yeah.
just visit it
you
week
guys
by
want to visit
week.
it every week?
Yeah, because we don't,
Didn't
now we're not
watch.
supposed to get rain again for a while. so
Yeah,
we
we're
just-
going into a little dry, and if their prediction on the August side of the world, hot and dry
We
now.
like to see you anyway.
And as we're here today and benefits, the West River side of the state's in a red flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
No,
Right.
I'm kidding.
just keep bringing us good news.
will do.
So
you.
Jamie's event is next Thursday, August 19th. Are there any tickets left if people want to get
No.
them? They're all
We
sold
are
out.
sold out.
All right.
Brenda, I don't,
That's where we stand.
can we have discussion on the burn ban thing? I don't know if we need to leave it on the agenda every week. Can he just, can we add it if we think it's gonna be a problem? Is it something that we really
it
need
has
to
to
have
be
on
on
here?
the
As
agenda.
long as it gets to me
I mean,
beforehand.
Jamie, what are your
Thursdays
thoughts
are-
on that?
We
I
can,
kind of agree with you, Troy. I don't see where we need it here every week. We've
I
got,
continually monitor it. If I see something, I'll get with and put it on the agenda by Thursday by 5, correct?
Yeah, if I can make a suggestion, just leave it on the agenda, and then if there's nothing to talk about, Jamie, you can just, text Brenda or somebody and just say,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that too.
it doesn't
Yeah,
hurt
we can do
to,
that.
yeah, it doesn't hurt to leave it on and only show up if you feel we need to
Sure.
enact it.
Sure.
We'll just do
No
that.
news is good news if you don't see me.
I just didn't want you to have to come up here every week to
No.
tell us that we don't
No.
need to enact.
It's
it.
So I'm glad to do it. Don't worry about it.
Right.
It's fine.
It's just good to
But
leave
we-
it on there in case something comes
The
up.
whole state's kind of in the whole game of it. So it's just,
Yeah,
gotta
mid,
continue to
I mean,
monitor
they're
it.
still dry, aren't they?
what's that?
Isn't mid-state kind of still dry?
They are, West River really, Aberdeen, Brown, no, I did see, they had some reports of 1.5 inches. They got some beneficial stuff. So
Yeah. So,
whether some burn bans are turning for the better around the state, I'll reach out to the regional coordinator every once in a while and we talk about those things.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
Jamie.
have a good day.
thanks, Jamie. We have our community, I think, partners meeting this Friday. Okay, item number 14, automatic budget supplements.
Done today.
All right, personnel changes, item number 15.
We have none. We have none other than the temporary additional hours for the welfare director.
And then the step
I'll move to
increase.
approve
There are
that.
none. Okay, yeah.
Second.
A motion by Johnson, second by Waterman.
And
Any
that
dis-
is to allow the welfare assistant an extra 10 hours per week temporarily
Temporary,
to
remain,
handle
yep,
caseload.
she'll remain the same status.
Yeah, yep.
Just temporary.
Okay, all right.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Travel requests, we have several of those. Getting ready for convention.
Yeah, let's see, the auditor, the treasurer, the register of deeds, the welfare director, and the highway superintendent all request authorization to travel to the 2021 annual conference for counties in Rapid City.
Grab a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Gable.
Second.
Second by Waterman. Any discussion?
All budgeted? I
Yep.
Take it?
They'd all be budgeted
Yeah,
items.
conference, yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Item number 17, public notices. Possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance. Sioux Valley Commissioner District meeting is next Wednesday in Redfield.
I will add the first district invite that is next Tuesday
Yep.
evening, the 17th.
17th. That's their open house.
Yes.
Starts at 6. If any of you are interested, the deadline is Friday to let Cindy know so she can let them know for planning purposes. Is there anything else that we,
I replied to that and it went to your automatic, so you still got it.
Yep, I forwarded it to Susie.
Thank you.
all right, I don't see anything else for a quorum. Old business, do we have any old business?
My name is Scott Martins, and I need clarification.
Come on up, Scott.
So we'll have
I'm
you
gonna give this to this young lady because she's my District 5 resident.
Oh.
And
Can you say your name again, just so we
Scott.
can pick it up on the mic?
Scott Martins.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay. I guess what I'm looking for is clarification of what I can and what I can't do on my property.
I believe you had a conversation with Luke and he, because I contacted Luke as well after I had a conversation with you and he said he did have a conversation with you on what you're able to do or not do.
I never got a crystal clear, see, I don't want to get into this and get a whole bunch of certified letters.
Mhm.
Can I have a picnic table out there?
That, I don't know.
Bingo.
We will, because I'm not fully aware of all the things that are allowed because of the status of this property. So
How do
let's
we
sit down
find-
with Luke.
How do we find that out?
We'll go to Luke. I'll go with you and we'll go have a meeting with Luke and then your questions will be answered and then you'll be able to know exactly what is allowed, what's not allowed. And I will as well.
Perfect.
Okay.
Where is this property at? May I ask this
It's,
question?
yeah, up
What do we-
kind of across from Bob Fox's.
Beyond
Elmira
Bordeaux.
Township, Elmira Township.
Yeah.
It's a
right?
little strip. How many acres is that?
1.2.
Yep.
Oh,
Little
that
strip of land.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
So we will get
See, that's
clarification.
my full business.
Is this the joint jurisdictional area also?
It would be.
Yes, that would be.
Okay.
So we'll try to set up a meeting. I have your number and we'll get a hold of Luke and we'll go and have a conversation with him. And then hopefully we'll get this figured out. So you know exactly what you are able to do there.
I'd appreciate that.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that to
You want
our
that back?
attention, Scott.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's see. New business. Do we have any new?
A couple of things for the agenda next week. We'll be taking action to approve the tax deed sale that we had today. And then we do have a bid letting for the corrugated metal pipe. Since our original bid is not going to be honored by the vendor due to unforeseen circumstances. This office will be occupied next Wednesday. We have somebody in here using the office all day for depositions, which should not be a problem.
We'll be
because we'll be in
Redfield.
Redfield, some of us, so just an FYI.
And they also had on the radio already, the treasurer's office going to be closed. Way
Yes,
out.
she has, yep,
Yep,
she
that's
sent a
good.
PSA out to get
That on
the
the
word out
radio
ahead
already.
of time, yeah, that is until what, the 28th? 25th of August, yeah, so.
All right,
Okay.
I'm just going to give an update. I attended the NRCS meeting yesterday morning, and we will probably be receiving these down the road, but the 25th Annual Legislative Banquet is October 18th, 2021. It's in Webster. Socials at 6:30, meals at 7, the galley. That's where they've held it for many years. So the NRCS, all the different districts are put this together. So if you're able to go, it is a nice event to
What's the date on that again?
attend. October 18th, so it's a little ways out, but
That's the same one they've had every year
Yep.
forever.
Yep.
Yeah.
it's a legislative banquet. So I also attended the Senior Companion Recognition Picnic last Friday, and two of the individuals received the presidential award because they put in so many hours and years. So that was nice to have happen. Our numbers, though, like when I first started going to this whole page would just be full of individuals and hours, and we're really getting down there. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, only 8 senior companions this past year. So
COVID had a
As
big deal
COVID
there.
kind of shut
Well,
things down a little bit too,
it's just, a lot of people just aren't.
especially with the
doing that
senior citizen
anymore.
population. They were a
Yeah.
little nervous
Yeah.
about that.
But I mean, they did shut things down, and we're
Mhm.
not doing, they were trying to call and do that sort of thing. They are back in person again now, but I mean, it's just the individuals who are volunteering their time to do this are not, they're becoming elderly themselves, so they're not able to do it. And we're just not having more people
Yeah.
jump into that position to help those individuals stay in their home. And so if anyone is wanting to do that, there's a need there so that these other individuals can live in their homes. Okay, I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have anything for the open? I'm not hearing any, so we do have a need to go into executive session under personnel. Is that correct, Natalie? All right. Motion to go in?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Motion
Second.
by Gable, second by Van Duzen. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? We are in exec.
And there's
So
no likely action after this, I'm guessing, so we can turn off the stream.
there'll be no action, Natalie.